guys to Dads Against the Narrative podcast, the podcast where we cut through the noise, challenge the status quo, and talk real talk about life, family, the world all around us. Today, our guest is Justin Kaiser, also known as Primal Dad Truther on every social account. So, Justin, thank you for being here, bro. And, of course, we're here with my buddy, Nate, co-host at all times, Nate Feathers, Dads Don't Babysit. Nate, I'll shoot over to you for the first question.
Yeah, man. I'm actually so excited to connect with you, Justin. So thank you so much for doing this with us. Our number one question we ask every guest is, when was it, like, what was that one aha moment that got you going, something's not right here, and started you down I like how you have it, the truther path, like that conspiracy theory that kind of constantly comes back saying, oh, we're 100% right since 1863. What started that process for you?
It was the events that had happened back in the day, like 9/11 and stuff, that really kind of triggered it in me at first, and I just always thought, like, there's no way that it could really be that way, but I believed it, you know what I mean? So I had this, like, back and forth feeling a lot. And my thing is, like, you say the truther name. I use the truther name because, I hate the conspiracy name, because it's like, this stuff isn't conspiracy if you've actually done the work and you know the truth. It's not a conspiracy. So why are you calling yourselves conspiracy theorists? Why are you calling these conspiracies when it's actually the truth? So it's just like this weird play on words thing that it's just like right there in everything.
Yeah, I love how you put that. I love how you put that too, because I've read this, heard this. The CIA brought that phrase conspiracy theorist into play, and when you're like, oh, you mean an intelligence operatives that go into other countries and topple governments, they brought that up. Oh, it's a great idea. We should use that as how what we call ourselves. That's insane. You're totally right, and it's definitely the truth. Especially because it keeps winning out. That's the thing for me, is that, we just keep finding that the people who are going, something doesn't smell right, they're usually right.
Yeah,
it's a little strange. It's strange that people don't even think, like, let's get to the truth, or let's find the truth, or what is the truth. Like, people don't ask that fucking question. It's so strange to me that you can go through your whole life just so, I don't know, calloused of, like, the world that, like, you just can't, like, rip off the callus and say, you know what the hell's real? Because this is not how life is. Me and Nate talked about this before, where it's like, you're in school being programmed for 15 years, and then you go to college, get your master's, go further, whatever. It could go all the way to freaking 20 years in schooling, and then you go until 67 working, and then you retire. And then they're like, oh, now you can live life. What the fuck? You think we were put on Earth literally just to work for someone nonstop?
Yeah.
Just to put it all away?
Yeah.
At the end of my life, that's it.
Yeah, and you know how they do this, man. They do it in so many elaborate ways. But, one way they do this is they program people into being go do a trade, right? You need to go get a career, right? So when you do that, you become a guru of one thing. You become a master of only one little thing in this world. And when you live in a world that you need to know a lot of different stuff about a lot of different things at a lot of different times, and all you know is one thing, you are going to fail. Unfortunately, you can make lots of money as a great electrician, right? But if all you know is electric and you don't know nothing about anything else, you got to pay people, then boom, that's the problem. Because until you learn that you get put up against all these different things, that you have to have that skill to handle anything else. If you're not able to adapt, right? If you're not able to have, so the idea of like the stigma behind like ADD, for example, like you shouldn't be ADD, right? Like that's bad to be a kid and go and like different things and do bullcrap, right? Because that takes your creativity away, right? So then now they're saying confine yourself. You should only be good at one thing, right? You should only build blocks and just be a block builder, bro, and just be the best block builder that ever built blocks. And it's like, no, I want to build blocks today and have fun with this guru and learn his trade, and then I want to go to the next guy. And it's like, until you learn that, that's why these people can't see this matrix. That's why they can't break anything down, because they can't see. You have to see every single little piece of the puzzle. You can't just be a guru of one piece of the puzzle. You have to be, that's with flat earth. You got to see every single angle for it to start being like, oh damn, like I get the mechanics of the water flat. Like I get the stars in the sky being like lights more than they are actually like this rock plasma thing. Like, so that's like a huge thing to me. Is it's like you guys really need to focus on being able to be multifaceted as you can. Be ADD, like be crazy, like don't let anyone confine you or label you, and don't ever just go and say I'm a one this guy, I'm a one that guy. I always say like go kick it with gurus, kick it with gurus that are amazing at that thing and learn how they know it, and then go the next, and then it becomes totally different. That's why I follow specific creators and stuff, because they all have this specific angle where it's like, oh, I didn't think of that, bro, thank you. And you take that little bit and then you hold it in your pocket, and then you go to the next one, and you're like, oh, and you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden you're like, nope, I see it together. Like I got the puzzle. It's right here.
Bro, that's every time you're saying this, it's like, I just think of schools, and you're just like, what does a kid come out of high school with? What knowledge? And then you're literally saying that there's like no fucking real knowledge to the world. They don't know how to fix their car. They don't know how to build anything. They don't know how to work with nature. They don't know how to grow crops. They don't know shit. They don't know how to work with the economics. It's crazy.
No, they don't know anything about credit. I had to learn everything over and over. And I paid enough attention in school to where I got the gist of it. I still had to relearn life over. I'm doing it at almost 40 now, relearning, it's wild. And so we have to just understand that this is like so multi-layered and so fabricated, man. Like,
no, the spider web's deep. It's really fucking deep, man.
You're speaking there. It actually had me thinking. I've heard, you've probably heard the statement, a jack of all trades, the master of none. Mm-hmm. And most people stop right there, but it's actually a rhyme, right? So people say that, oh, jack of all trades. They're trying to say, oh, but you're a master of nothing. The truth is that whole statement is a jack of all trades, but a master of none is still better than a master of one. And that whole concept is that if you pigeonhole yourself, you're fucked. I mean, that's really what it is. It's like if you pigeonhole yourself to, I only, like you use electricity, like an electrician, like if you only do that, you're right. Then you have to outsource everything else. And let's be real. At least in the United States or the Western culture, we outsource everything. We outsource. I mean, I know it was kind of a funny concept, but I'm trying to think of who it was. And I know him and I can see his face, but he outsourced his dating. Like he outsourced dating so that he could make it. It was the guy was like I'm totally blanking on who it is, and I can see him. But we outsource how we train our children. We outsource who teaches them about spirituality. It's like, oh, well, you go to church for that, and then when you go to church, oh, well, the Sunday school teacher or the kids pastor teaches the kids, and then that's where they learn that, and then you don't do anything else the rest of the week. So that of course is going to stick once a week. That'll make it stick really well, right? Or, we're outsourcing pretty much every single thing. And instead of being the number one influence on our kids as fathers and learning as much as we can, I love what you said there, Justin. Like, I'm still learning this stuff. I'm still figuring this stuff out, or relearning. I think that's a great thing. If we're ever learning and ever growing, not only does that create new neural pathways in our brains and keep our brain young, it keeps us young. It just makes us grow and it allows us to be an even better example to our children, and as we get older, our grandchildren. I also think, like you said it, but it makes us less likely to be duped when you know some stuff.
Oh, yeah, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. the only reason why I know anything is just from failure. You know what I mean? And it's like, and, and just being poor, bro. You know, because if you're poor and you make a lot of mistakes, you got to get real good and crafty because you got like no money to pay no one. You can't go buy a bunch of stuff. You got to create what you need. So like coming up poor and just roughing it a lot got me real crafty and real creative, and it just got me to where it was like you get this mentality of like, if I don't figure this out on my own, nobody's coming to save me, bro. Like I have to figure this out. Like, and then it's like as life comes along, man, shoot, you come into so many things in life where it's like, oh my God, and it's like you don't want to learn it, and then it's like life kind of forces you to learn it, and then you're like, you look back and you're like, I'm so glad I learned that. And then you start like practicing all this appreciation for what all you've learned. Like in mechanics, like I've had to do so many mechanics with so many different kinds of, from boats to cars to bikes to everything. I started as a bike mechanic, you know. And so I have this appreciation for breaking things down and all how these little small moving parts work. And then it was like I started being like, damn man, like this is tight, you know. And then I got into health where it was like I messed up my health, so I had to start fixing my health. I started looking at it like a mechanic, and I'm like, dude, I gotta start breaking all this down, and I gotta get the right, you got to get the right, you know, chemicals at the right time and and it's like science, you know. And so I start breaking this down into health, and I start having this deep appreciation for the body and health, and like really how set up we are and like our digestion and everything. And it's like, it's wild how it never appealed to me until I destroyed my health. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this is really interesting. And I have so much appreciation for it, you know? So it's nothing like us just hitting those bottoms and learning from them, and just learning like, oh my God, you learn so many different things from so many different areas where it's like, bro, this, we just have to understand that, like, that this is really deep, you guys. And just like it's almost like they programmed us in school to understand, to like be like, oh, once you're out of here, you're cool, you're good, like these adults all got it figured out. And then you get out there and it's like, these adults don't know nothing, bro. Like they're like, I know, like, no offense, but I had more understanding of just the world when I was a kid than a lot of these adults that I was supposed to be learning from. And I'm like, this don't make sense, bro. So yeah.
It also, I think, Jack, you mentioned about like the school system doing this. You know, they basically take away the creativity, but they take away your intuition. They make you constantly question yourself about your abilities or what you think you know. And when that happens, I think religion does the same thing. When you constantly say to someone, well, you don't really know, then every time they think something, they're like, well, I don't know what to do with that. Like, I don't like. And so instead, you're dependent on somebody else. And that's like, I'm not trying to say this from like the North American mindset or the U.S. mindset of like, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps. But when you're completely dependent on someone else, the moment they're not there, you're screwed. Or the moment, like, they could be lying to you and you're screwed again. Like, it doesn't matter how it goes. You depending on someone else for whatever it is leaves you completely exposed to either getting taken advantage of or being completely lied to and then taken advantage of. You know what I mean? It just comes back down to it doesn't serve you at all to be that dependent. And a lack of knowledge puts you completely dependent.
Absolutely.
Bro. Yeah, you hit that head on, bro. It's like, look at what they do in just politics. Politics nowadays, it's like, it's not about like this digital ID shit that's coming out all over fucking Europe, coming to America, probably coming to Mexico down here. It's like they want you dependent on their system, dependent on them. And then you hear people that are just like, it doesn't matter what side of the field you're on here, because I don't give a shit about politics, but it's like, you just really are like, hey, I want the government to take care of me. I want free money. I want to be dependent on the government. Like, what the fuck kind of mindset is that? I get that that's more to the left, as far leftists and these communist ways. But what the fuck? How can you get that way that you think your life should be just given all these free resources and you can just stay at home and play video games, watch porn, eat eat shit and just get your stuff all delivered to you. It's like, it's really a weird concept that someone thinks that life can be like that. I mean, when did we get so even like the philosophical ways of thinking and saying, you know, what is life? What's it for? Why are we here? And what happened to like questioning it? Like you said just in the beginning, it's not about conspiracy theories. It's about the truth. It's about finding the truth. So many people are like, dude, I don't give a shit about the truth. I just care, like, I understand there's stars, there's Jupiter, there's all, and they go through this whole thing, like, why? If we're spinning out, and then you give them all, like, the research that you've done, they're like, that, you're just retarded. I'm like, what? That's your comeback? That you have no research, you have nothing. You're so lazy that you can't even scratch the surface on the looking into anything. It's so minimal, and it's such an empty soul. It's like, I said before, I think it's the test tube babies and the Cabbage Patch Kids with no soul, and they're just fucking NPCs walking around here and shit, you know?
Absolutely, yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. And he made such a good point with the, you know, with the Matrix in general, because of the programming. And it's wild because, you know, I became a victim to the Matrix myself, bro. That's what makes my approach so unique, because it's like, you guys, I've improved my health or whatever, blah blah blah. But I'm telling you, I was such a bot, man. I was the most bot that you'll ever meet. Just the most typical. Just seriously, I was just the most typical average bot, and I just accelerated that like really quick. And luckily, I lost my health young, and going to the point of dependence, man. You know, first, you know, I learned and I knew better of just kind of the idea of like the government and everything. I knew right away. Like when I heard the BS, that government was BS, it clicked in my head immediately. You know, it was in no question to me. I was like, yep, that doesn't. But at first, I believed in it. That's what makes it so fun, because it's like I fell for it where I trusted these fools. Like I let the FDA, their FDA approvals, like actually impact my belief system, bro. Where I was like, dude, they approved this stuff's on the shelves, it's cool, right? Like they approved it, like it. So it's this multi-layered, like it's wild how it, and it's wild how you say, you know, we're at the age now where soy boys are laying around fapping, and all they do is like they're on OnlyFans and they're ordering food into their mom's basement and they're laying there on unemployment or whatever, right? And it's wild how it starts as it wasn't like that first, you know what I mean? Like first the internet came, and then it was like, so it was like this, it's all this accumulation now to where it's like it's so oversaturated that it's just toxic. And that's what usually happens from what we've heard in these purges of humankind, when it just gets so gross and played out and oversaturated that the creator, or however you want to call it, just wipes the slate. Because it's like, bro, what's the point of this human race? They're so hybridized, everything's so modified, they're so chopped up, that there's all these chimera out here, pig humans, and there's these human kids that they make in labs and all this. If you're a creator, you're looking at this like humanity, like what is this, bro? Like, am I gonna let this continue on? That's what happened to the last Bible, right? Is the Nephilim got all mutant because they were hybridizing and they were doing all this weird crazy stuff, and God said, I have to reset this now because y'all went too far. I let y'all come out here and play, and you were chilling, you did all right, but you lost me, you lost the God part of it, and so you became this separate entity that no longer should exist, bro, because you're just gonna fail. So what's the point of creation if you're just gonna die? You know, you're all gonna get so mutated eventually. It's like Idiocracy, where it's like it just slowly happens, and then you look around behind you and it's like, whoa, it's like smoking. You know, it was like, how did smoking happen, bro? Like we were all, the doctors, you know, everyone said go smoke, and then all of a sudden we were like, oh, you're dying from this. And it was like, whoa, wait a second. And then it was like, oh, but we're gonna keep it here, we're gonna keep it out here, and then you're still gonna have to get away. It's just crazy.
Well, I'm gonna show my age here too, but if y'all saw the original with Michael Keaton, Joker's move was that he got into the products, right? And it wasn't one product that was the killer. It was the combination of multiple products that would come together and do what it did in that movie, right? That's what ended up killing it. I think about that in this situation. What better way to control and get rid of, and you're talking about population control, what better way to do that than to have multiple toxins from different ways to infuse into society, so that those who don't ask questions and those who are willing to just go with it and be just, oh yeah, I trust these people with like blindly, to just, what better way to just off them? And that sounds awful. I'm like, oh my, like my heart hurts when I think that. I'm like, that's what people want to do. That's what they want to do to these people. It's sick. And I'm like, and I can't understand that. I don't need to understand it. I just need to know that it's happening, right? But what better way than to never have the finger pointed at you either. If you really wanted to get away with it, you just infuse it into all these different things and then just let it take its course. And people are like, I don't know why these people are dying. I don't know what's going on. Oh, I don't know. Pharmaceutical companies are doing this. The sugar companies doing this. Like they're putting this in the ground for most of our food. They're doing this to the meat and the animals. I mean, you can literally walk straight through and go, oh, it's not just because I eat this kind of meat. It's because I have all of these other boxed cereals in my house. Yes. I'm eating this other stuff over here. The vegetables have been sprayed with all of this. I'm consuming it. It's not bad on just the vegetables, but when you add it to everything else, now we're doing it. And they're doing that not just to your food, but to your mind and to your soul. Like they're doing it to multiple parts of your body that are really, that's where it's really frustrating.
Right. Me and Justin were talking last night. We were talking about how not only the attacks happened like you just said, but when Rockefeller came in, he changed the hertz of like music, right? So it's like everything. People don't even realize it's everything. So like the hertz changed. They threw up 5G towers that we talked about before. They don't help your fucking cell phone. It's a frequency device to fuck you up and keep you in a state of anxiety or some kind of state of fear or manipulation. And that's like, I'm with you, Justin. I feel like, man, we have to be at the precipice. We have to be at the precipice. And there's us who are talking and the people who are listening and are like, fuck yeah. We're the warriors who are going to survive and be able to usher in a new world. And my wife and I was telling Justin last night, I'm like, me and Simone have talked so many times about like, bro, like I feel like since I was a kid, something was going to happen in the world that like I'm surviving. I was put here to survive. I was put here to be a warrior. And similar, Justin, I was programmed so bad. I was just a druggy, alcoholic, womanizing motherfucker dude in my 20s. And slowly, like, I went to Afghanistan, and that was my wake-up call. I was like, holy shit, these people are peaceful as shit. They're so nice. They're kind. And it was eye-opening for me. And then you hear people be like, we should have found them all. I'm like, what? That makes no sense. You're programmed by someone else. And then I started waking up to everything. I mean, my first was 9/11, but Afghanistan was really where it's like, I need to turn my life around. I need to really get a hold of this life, figure out myself, figure out economics, because I wasn't taught shit in school. I played sports. I was a great sports player. That got me far because I'm not playing in fucking major leagues or anything, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and that's exactly what you guys are confirming and elaborating a little more on what I'm saying. I love that you guys kind of have that multifaceted mindset where you got to be able to see these layers. You got to be able to see. If we don't see the big picture, we don't focus on the big picture, then we get so distracted with the little BS and the politics and all these little fabric layer crap matrix details that we get sucked up into that are designed for that specific reason, to not only distract you, but to segregate you and make you fight and to distract you, bro, to keep you from focusing on what's important. That's why, like, in my content, I'm like, you guys, like, yeah, I do show you these distractions and stuff, but I'm showing you as an example that it's just the matrix, and don't let this consume you, but just know that this is happening and see the big picture. You gotta, it's like, if you see one video, it's like, okay, wow. And then you go away. But if you see 50, then it changes your whole mindscape. That's like the difference between a random bot or a random person who's never even dabbled with what we're talking about. They're just out there in this world pretending or just thinking and believing that it's real. And if they watch just like, let's say, one viral video on the truth, like they've seen some Charlie Kirk something, you know, about some crazy stuff, they're going to see that and just be like, you know, like a part of them will see it, but then they're so deeply programmed that they're just going to go right back to what they were doing. That's not going to be enough for them. They got to be able to see another one and another one. And then once they see, and that this is what people need to understand about flat earth. You got to do this with flat earth. If you haven't gone through at least 3 or 4 of the flat earth theories, just randomly, you know, find ones that interest you. If you haven't done at least a few of them, it's not going to hit. Because when I first was looking into it, at first I was like, this is dumb. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's not enough for me. Like, this ain't compelling enough. Like, telling me water's flat. That's the whole idea, is because you can look and you can't just prove it, bro. That's what's wicked. These people don't get is every single thing about flat earth is all without our reach. Just like the sun being local, it's just right out of our reach where we can't prove it. We can zoom on it with our even cell phones, which you shouldn't be able to do, right? With something that's so far away, your cell phone zooming on it like a cloud, you know. So you got the local sun part, you got the sea level, then you have the perspective. How you guys know, if you stare straight long enough, anything will disappear. Anything will disappear. It's the way our vision works. They don't explain how our own vision works, right? And that's why you need a periscope, because our eyeballs don't work like a periscope. They're not going to keep this insane anti-zoom or a zoom to show us that, bro, everything's flat, right? So they knew that. They knew our eyes didn't work this way. And so they play on all of that, right? They play on the airplanes, bro, how the airplanes fly really high up. Why? Well, if you're gonna say that the curvature ain't there, or if you're gonna say that you're flying on a curvature, but you go 30K in the sky, you can't. There's no curvature in there. It's just the curvature is gonna be eaten up in that flight. So you don't have to prove or show like, hey, I'm curving, bro. Do you see? And so it's like they have this like woven deep. They set this up on purpose. It's not like an accident, right? It's not like we're just accidentally falling into this truth. It's like, nah, somebody fabricated it, bro. Like, they actually made this set up. They set this whole game, the whole thing, bro. GTA. Like, it's wild. Like, and it only takes someone who can sit there with the patience and or energy to go through at least 5, 6, 10 rabbit holes and start putting it together in your own way, you know. And then it's like it becomes this big picture, just like a puzzle, you know, where it's like, I see the puzzle now. It's not just pieces. Crazy.
Remember I said that? I said it starts with flat earth, and then all the pieces just start. Me and him have talked about this so much. We just did a whole episode on flat earth, Justin. And I told him, like, dude, once you start, you have to start at flat earth, almost. Because once you realize, like, flat earth, how far they're willing to go and lie. And if you don't know who started NASA, and you don't know Walt Disney's part of it, and then you don't know dinosaurs didn't exist for thousands of years until the 1800s, 19th century, then it's like, bro, it just like all of a sudden comes and you're like, fuck, dude, what happened where they just decided let's lie nonstop to the civilizations that are happening right now? And then people are just like, yeah, it only takes a couple generations, and next thing you know, it's the truth. What they do in schools, they put the globe everywhere. Put the globe in your school, put the globe. Make your kids' nursery all about the planets. Start them off right with lies. Tell them Santa's real. Tell them Easter Bunny's real. It's like, fuck them, Nate. You know how I am with this one, dude. It's like we lie to our children right from the rip, and that way it's programmed into them instead of being like, I don't know, what do you think's real? Like my son, he got in an argument the other day about flat earth. He told someone, another kid, that the earth's flat, dude. Water's above and water's below. And the kid's like, no way, that can't happen. Blah, blah, blah. And they ran to their mom. And the week before that, my son told another kid Santa's not real. Ran to his dad, and I'm like, dude, I don't lie to my son. Sorry, man. If you want to lie to your son, that's on you, not on me. And that's the problem, is we got so comfortable with lying and accepting lies that even people are still like Trump last week, rolling up his sleeve and getting the COVID vaccine. Get the fuck out of here, man, with that shit. What the hell are you talking about, man? Like, you just talked about how vaccines were bad, and now you're over there getting COVID vaccine. What the fuck, dude? The confusion that you're setting with the world and setting into people's minds is just, it's the exact same as everyone else. It's just another name. It's crazy.
I feel like it's such a joke that they're just like, we're going to make this so funny that we're going to prove how dumb these people are, bro. We're going to literally make an example of the idiocracy out here. And we're going to literally mock these clowns. And it's going to piss off the people who know. You know what I mean? Because why? Well, for one, the majority are the bots. The majority are the idiots that are believing the big show. So you got the majority vote. So you're already the loser, because if there's more versus you, it don't matter what the context is. You're a loser in the big picture, right? If you look, especially like if you look at it like on social media or in like comment sections, like, you know how many videos I posted up, bro, talking this truth, and my comments are way higher than the likes, like triple the likes. Why? Because these people are so triggered, bro, you know, and they're just like so pissed off because I'm not trying to say I'm just way farther along with it. It's just, I'm just so bored with it that I'm just like, I'm not soft with the delivery of breaking down their world. And that's my fault, because I'm just so short patience, bro, where I'm just like, you guys are still talking about Charlie Kirk? Like, shut up, dude. Like, people are still like crying over him, like, oh, he was such a patriot and all this. And it's like, I posted a video the second, bro, they announced it, saying this is all BS, and it's showing it on Instagram, showing dude's neck blown out. How the hell could that be if it was real? They would never, ever, ever let that show on anything, bro. Think of that like 5 years ago, 10 years ago. Someone's neck blowing out, blood on your feed on Instagram. Dude, this was a little kid's app, you know? So it's like, you know, it's fake, and it's like, it's just wild the levels people are at. You've got the people who are, you know, a lot of the content creators and stuff who are out here. It's not about being better or anything. It's just about being like, guys, I'm seeing this, and if I don't share this, then I can't sleep at night. So screw you. If you don't like it, I'm sorry. I love y'all. But you know what? I won't be able to sleep, and whether I'm up ahead of you or not, I'm sorry, you know? And it's like, there's just so many layers to these people, bro. There's so many people who are at different levels. And it's like, I'd say millimeters, you know what I mean? We got to understand it's millimeters in difference. And you have to understand that's how we've come along too, where that's our learning. We've learned millimeter by millimeter every day, you know, and we've come along. But it's like, where do you get to a point, bro, where you got a general understanding of this world's BS and that you got to man up, right? And that's where you guys come in. Right? Where you're like, this is a BS world and you need to stand up, be a man, right? Say something about it. And or you better damn well be a man to your kids, at least. If you're not going to come out here and help the people, you better be leading your kids and your family correctly, right? Because you're supposed to be this future, this, that, and the other. There's so many reasons. It's just mind-numbing, right?
Dude, that's a big reason. And Nate, you get hit on the Charlie Kirk thing. Like, that kind of took Nate to the next level. He's like, dude, this is fucked up. And me and him, I remember talking, and I'm like, dude, this is crazy, because I believed it first. And I keep watching videos, and I keep saying to the name, I'm like, dude, I don't know, man. They cleaned up the whole site. They repaved it. His body, there was no corridor. There was no, like, anything. And you're like, dude, what? And then his wife just came out happy as fuck. Like, that was weird. And then the kids are just like, where are they? And it was really strange. And then I'm like, dude, maybe, because I saw some, I think it was yours, actually, bro. The first day, I'm like, nah, that can't be. Like,
I posted it the first.
Like,
It was probably too soon. But I was just like, nah, dude, you guys got to see this, you know? And then as all these things unraveled, bro, it didn't surprise me at all. You know what I mean? Like, dude, there's so many. There's so many.
It's just hard to accept, though. Like, when you're like, dude, that dude just get fucking sniped on TV, and you're like, fuck. But then, like, as you start unraveling, you have to be open to, like, accepting new data. And that's, like, where science is, like, stop. Science now is, like, nope, don't question the science. What the fuck? You're supposed to question science.
That's what science is. Yes.
Science. What the fuck, dude?
Contradiction.
Come on, Nate. Sorry, man.
Like, what the totally true. You know, I'm still like, and I'm still reeling through a lot of that stuff. But the thing for me is, I always, like, when something big happens, I'll always look at my wife and I'll be like, what do you think they're trying to pass in the House or the Senate right now? I'm like, what do you think they're trying to do, like, you know, on Capitol Hill, when in the midst of all of this stuff? Because that's the thing, is it's create this big distraction and then pull in stuff underneath that you can just get away with as you, like, because people are so paying attention. I mean, the Charlie Kirk thing has been in the news for like weeks now. It just keeps going. And I mean, hey, like, wherever you are in that process is fine. Like, questioning, totally believing, like, whatever. Like, don't do that. Let's question everything. Honestly, that's the whole point of Dads Against the Narrative. But not only should you be questioning all this stuff, you should be questioning, okay, so what am I missing? Because they're like, hey, look over here. You know, like, don't pay attention to the man behind the curtain in Wizard of Oz, right? Like, don't pay attention to the man. Pay attention to this over here. I am Oz. And it's like this old man just behind the curtain, like, messing with stuff. And it's like, that's exactly what is happening all the time, everywhere. And you have to just be willing to go, all right, what I see with my eyes, what they're trying to put in front of me, what are they trying to do underneath all of that?
Bro, don't you think it's like, when do people fucking say enough is enough? Like, they stopped all government pay. So soldiers, and I'm retired military, people don't know out there, soldiers aren't getting paid right now, but they're sending money to Israel. What? How the fuck does that even make sense? How are people not more pissed? Like, I think that's like a big part of Dads Against the Narrative too, is like, we need to be questioning everything. One, not to just teach our children in the next generation critical thinking, discernment, but also, like, how do we fix it right now? What would you say to that, Justin? Like, what's the goal? Like, that's, I don't know.
Such a good question, bro. And we have to ask ourselves, you know, as the big picture, right, of this world, what if the very fact that it's so oversaturated with crap, right, with inflation and, you know, minimum wage and the economy, and they're giving Israel all our money and they're giving NASA all our money. What if it's just, there's so many things that we just can't focus. There's so much that we can't keep track, bro. We can't, you know what I mean? Like, how can you go after just one thing when it's like there's 3 million other things going on? And it's like, you can get a jury in on that, but then there's 50 other juries on 50 other stupid. We've overcomplicated our own existence. You know, at the end of it, it's all duality. It's all good and bad, right? And this world is 100,000% it's full of nuance, and it's an upside down world. Almost every single thing I've ever researched in my life was probably the opposite of what I was told. It's wild, bro. Almost everything is it's either upside down or it's just so multifaceted, so multi-layered that it's like, that wasn't explained to us this way. It was explained to us only one way, and we only understood this one way, and the duality wasn't understood. So we just have to understand, like, you guys, this world is a cesspool. We have to use examples, things like, even like the movie Idiocracy. Learn from that movie. You know, it showed us that everyone was drinking the Kool-Aid, bro. And it was like, it was the way they were raising that Kool-Aid that was keeping everyone dead. And it took one person to come in and be like, you guys, you just need to tweak this one thing. You need to switch from Kool-Aid, from the Gatorade to the water on the crops, and you'll change the world. It's the same thing in a sense, kind of with sugar. You know, we have this table sugar that everyone eats and uses all day, every day. It's all normal, this, that. But we have this thing called allulose that is almost exactly the same thing, except has no negative effects. So tell me we don't have an idiocracy here if we could have a sugar that's not going to cause any teeth decay, not going to cause gut disruption, not going to cause your brain to rot and your children's bodies to decay from a childhood, and your teeth to rot as 3 years old. You know, 2 3-year-olds are getting their teeth pulled out regularly now. Like, that's a normal thing. Cool. Yeah. Let's just rip kids' teeth out. So, you know, that's how you know it's a fake world, because we have these, you could use non-sugar sweeteners, guys, and you can preserve your health, you know, and it's like, that's the world we're in, where it's like, nobody cares. It's not talked about. we got to worry about going to work instead, or we got to just, you know, we've got to make it by and just get the Walmart food. And it's wild. It's just so just it sucks, you know. It's so, there's so many layers in it, and there's so many factors to people's everyday day-to-day lives. Like I always say, like, it's hard enough just to like literally live in this world, let alone do all this other stuff we're doing, man. Like relearning all this crap and buying all this crap, and then you have to like rebuy stuff, and you're trying to like switch things out and go cleaner, and it costs more money. It's a big game. We're in a big game, and it's a big test, and it's literally teaching us, like, are you going to learn this? Are you going to take on these challenges? Like, are you going to do what you feel compelled to do with that little voice that's telling you, that you always hear, that you ignore most of the time, you know, but you can hear it when you need to hear it. And then when you listen, you pay attention, you learn, damn, that voice was right, bro. It's that discernment, right? It's that higher self. And that's what I feel like this is all, it's all a matter of us all getting into that. If we can get into that voice, get into that discernment, that higher self, that's the only way that's going to get you navigating through this matrix. If you can't connect to that discernment and that God, that faith, then you're screwed, because you're going to go on fear. You're going to go chasing fake jobs. You're going to go chasing fake people. You're going to go trying to impress the Joneses and shit, and getting eaten up in this matrix.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Go on, Dave. I was just thinking when you said that, I was like, that's why you have to have mental toughness and grit. Like, there has to be, and when I'm bringing it back to being the father and being the example specifically, because it's like, okay, you think about that. I can't tell you how many times that I've been in that situation, like looking at stuff that, oh great, now that's this, and they're putting this in this food that I eat, and I've got to either figure out but I really like it. And so you have to actually like putting yourself in situations constantly that force you to have grit, fortitude, and a different mindset, like all of those things. Because wouldn't it just be easier if you just throw your hands up and be like, fuck this, I'm just gonna go back into the matrix? It's just like where he's like, I know this isn't a real steak, but this is what I want. Why didn't I take the blue pill? That kind of thing. It's like,
yeah,
you could throw your hands up and be like, I can't stand this anymore, I'm out, and then just drop back in, and your entire legacy, someone down the line can take care of it, because I didn't have the intestinal fortitude to stick with it and to push through it. And so that's, from my standpoint, I'm like, that's why I look at guys and I'm like, dude, you should be as strong as you possibly can be. You should be as smart as you can possibly be. You should be as fast. You should be as capable as you possibly can be, because you are fighting every day against this thing that's just, it's always working against you. And the easier thing would just be to like fuck it, I'm out. I'm gonna just tap back in and just go right back into the matrix and let it go, because you just don't want to fight against it so much. And I think that leaves our children with no example, and then someone, you know, generations down the road has to be like, why didn't somebody see this before and start this process? And then really the family tree bends at that person instead of us. And from my standpoint, I can't let that be the case.
Exactly, bro. And you know, it's like, people don't even realize like that's part of the CIA. The CIA is part of the fucking, like, make them say it's too much, to make them believe that, you know what, why even do the research? Because, you know, it doesn't. Does it really matter? I get this all the time. It's like, Jack, does it really matter? Well, I don't know. Does your life really fucking matter? I don't know. Like, how about that? Does your life matter? You tell me, because to me it does matter, because the truth is the only thing that sets you free, and the truth's so varied that none of you guys want to believe half the shit. You know, like, oh, fucking dinosaurs are great. No, how about dragons? What about giants? What about tree stumps? What about the 200 fallen angels? What about... You can just keep fucking going, and then they're like, dude, you sound crazy. You sound fucking insane.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because it is insane. When you start going through it and pulling layer and layer, it's crazy, the depth of deception.
Yeah, you guys are nailing this stuff. You know, first of all, from what you were talking about, bro, I've done that so many times, and I'm going to tell you right now, you know, it's just like anything. You got the kind of people who you can learn from something kind of quick and kind of get it quick, and then you can go on, or you can just keep bumping your head over and over and going through it. I've done that. I've done it so many times where I've gone in the matrix, out of the matrix, and so when you learn that, bro, you get to where you're like, there's a reason why you're not going back. You know more. Where you get to a point where you have just a deeper understanding. You got to go through every layer, right, to understand that layer, and that's what's wild is, and you know, you're right, bro. Like big picture, you know, you keep talking big picture, Jack. You keep saying like, you know, aren't you guys thinking like over in general? And it's like it takes this experience to it takes all the experiencing for you to see it. So it's like, bro, you're just ahead of the game. So you ain't gonna get you're not gonna get many people that are gonna be like, oh yeah, man, I see that flat earth shit. Like, yeah, man, let's do this. Like, no dinosaurs and like, no, that's not gonna happen. You're just too far down. You've just done the work, and it's not about being better or anything else. It's just you've done the work, bro. You've been down them rabbit holes, and you know, the way we gotta look at this stuff is we gotta be like, yeah, they lied to us and like everything, but you guys got to think for one, like this Matrix was boring and lame. Like what they told us in school, like even outer space was fascinating to me, but it was like, they're just like, oh, there's nothing else out there though. There's no aliens. There's no other planets, Earth-like planets. We're all alone. And it's like, oh, you're going to give me this really cool imaginative place, but then you're going to cut it all off and say it's infinitely just nothingness and there's just nothing out there but rocks, bro. That's lame. So it was like once I was already in the flat earth and everything, because I got pulled into it. I didn't go into it. I didn't want to know it. I didn't care about it. I got pulled into it, right? And so once I got into it and I got in there, I was like, bro, like this is so effing cool, bro. Like this is way cooler than what we were told. And it's like, you guys just shut up and just kick it for a second. If you go and learn this stuff and you learn that this sounds way more than what we were told, at least it doesn't have to be word for word in all this. It doesn't have to be exactly what because we also have to know that we only have breadcrumbs of information about this crazy stuff we're learning, bro. So we're like taking these little breadcrumbs and we're making them into a big piece of dough because we're just like, it's just fascinating, bro. We have to understand whoever set this up, these Masons, it's Masonic. I don't know how much deeper these Masons set this up, guys, mathematically. It's all mathematic. The G on the Mason, it's geometry. These fools are mathematical geniuses, and they set this up to be I'm going to teach you a lie, then you're going to learn the truth and learn how dope and cool that truth is. It was just like my body and my health. I trashed my body and trashed my health until I just didn't care about it, and I just got bored with it. And then it was like I lost my health and I needed to learn about it, and I got forced into learning about it. And now I have this deep appreciation and I have this deeper understanding of my health and my body and my anatomy, the digestive system, everything that I've destroyed. I understand it way more, you know. It's just like mechanics, everything else. So it's just like breaking and beating this stuff down is what gets you there. And then once you, again, put it together, it's like, boom, I know the truth now. We're just waiting for others to come and join in on it, right?
Bro, do you have any friends that, like, watched you change? Because there's my buddy Trevor. He might be listening, too. Trevor is probably the very first buddy that I was like, dude, I'm going to send him this flat earth shit. I don't know if I believe it or not. And it was on, like, TikTok. And I'm just like, Trevor would hit back and be like, dude, you've lost it, bro. You've lost it. I'm like, I don't know. And then, like, 3 videos later, I'm like, bro, I don't know, man. They're making more sense than the fucking, like, space and all this shit. And then, like, you know, like, you start going further, and then you're like, holy shit, wait. The ocean's blue only when the sun's out, just like the sky. And the waters are above, and the sky matches the ocean. And then the sun leaves, and the ocean and the sky match again. But, whoever told me that one fucking got me a long time ago. Now I'm like, dude, I hit up my buddy Trevor. I'm like, bro, I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards the flat Earth. Is it making more sense to me? And he watched me for the last like 3 years, just like slowly, as you said, it's like millimeter by millimeter, right? Until recently, finally, I just said like on air when they last week or whatever, I'm like, that's it, guys. I'm 100% flat Earth. There's no going back. I don't believe space. Space is bullshit. Stars are fucking little lights. And why have they been there forever? Because it's also a fucking directional compass for us that was given by the creator. And that's why all of our pyramids line up with them. That's why like all these crazy fucking monolithic stones line up with it. It's like, dude, it goes on and on. It's just like, no, I can't go back. I'm already too far in because it's taken 3 years though, guys. 3 fucking years of researching, of listening to different people's perspectives. Yeah. And that's open-minded about it. You know, yes. That's a big part of it. You have to be open-minded.
Yes, bro. And I want to let you go too, but I want to inject something on this real quick. Think of it this way, bro. If we wrote down every single flat Earth detail, think of them. There's so many. Write them all down or whatever, and literally put the context on there. You know, source everything. Bring this up to a jury, bring it up to a judge, bring it up to a courtroom of some kind, or even make an example of it and do it in a town meeting or something where there's enough people that have common sense and sit and break it down and be like, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Like, dude, there's so many. And that's why when I've done this about flat Earth and everything, and I start going through these rabbit holes, I'm like, God, I got to make a video about this. Like, I've done so many of these because I want people to be able to see from the damn satelloons to the damn periscopes to the damn local sun to the eclipses even, bro. There's so many, bro. Like the rockets. Come on, like that's why I show all those actors too going through it. And then I always, you know, the reason why I think a lot of those videos go viral because I always add those overlays, add that context, show it what the hell they're talking about, right? Like literally it's right there in the picture. So it's like you're watching this and you're seeing the picture and you still are denying it. And it's like, eventually it's like, y'all got to ask yourself if you're the crazy ones that are watching this saying that it's BS, right? And it's like, okay, one video, you get away with that, right? You can call me crazy. But you've seen 15, 30 of my videos, bro, and they're all viral and they're all BS. They all have gotten multiple millions of views on all these platforms. And so you got to ask yourself, right? Like I asked you, what's the real conundrum here? Is it that I've tricked millions of people into my BS little flat theories? Or that I've gotten millions of these views on this flat Earth, right? It gets to where it's undeniable, bro. Like that's why people don't like me because they get to where they're like, I gotta unfortunately, I gotta admit this, or that my whole world's completely bull crap, or I gotta roll with this guy, like, or you gotta lie to yourself, and then you gotta. So it's hard because that's why it's hard. I try to give disclaimers like I'm gonna red pill you guys, like. I try to tell people, like, I'm going to red pill you into something, and you can't look back, bro. Once you see it, you can't unsee this stuff. And so be ready, you know? So it's wild world.
Nate, what you got over there, dude?
Yeah.
I was just thinking, like, you know, it is, and you said it before, it's a millimeter at a time, right? Like, it's one, like, how do you eat an elephant? It's like one bite at a time, right? That's kind of how you have to do this because there's programming, and then there's the experience, and you have to like figure out, and that's why there's so much cognitive dissonance. That's why people fight it so hard, because inside it's like if your subconscious is what's been programmed, and it's 95% of what you do in a day is done by the subconscious, then it's real hard when stuff bangs up against that. You're like, I don't know why I disagree with that, but I can't believe it. And then there's something else underneath going, maybe you should like at least let that ride, at least think about it more. And it got me thinking, because all of us on here were like 9/11 was like the thing that got us, right? And I don't know when yours was, Justin, but like when that happened for you, Jack was like, hey, it was the day after, or the day of, and going, dude, it took me a couple of years, but when I hit it, I was like, there's no going back. Then I started like running down on all these different ones, what was funny is my brother, he's 3 years older than me. So this was 2004. I started talking about it. He's like, "You're out of your mind." He's like, what did he used to call me? He used to be like, you're. I was annoying to him too, but he's like, you're so crazy. This is not true. This is not true. Dude, if it wasn't 2020, it was 2021 when all the COVID bullshit came out. Now, here's the thing. My brother was in education. He was in a school teaching, and he, when everything closed down, he never went back. And he pulled his kids, and he homeschools his kids now. Like, even though he was in the education system, and he called me, it was a call or text, and he was like, "Just had to tell you that you were right. You were right all along." And I'm like, oh, it's one of the best things. I was like, you've come to the dark side, have you? Yeah. But it's one of the things where I kind of feel like I say that I'm going, you've come to the side of light. You come to the truth. You come to like being willing to go, all right, these guys have totally pulled the wool over so many of our eyes. They've spent our entire youth programming us so that when we see with our eyes the things they're doing, we still have a cognitive dissonance that doesn't allow us to believe it, so they can continue to do whatever bullshit they're trying to pull. And when he said it to me, I was like, oh man, it was so huge to me. I was like, you've got to be kidding me now. Like, it took you 16 years to do this, and it took this happening. I'm like, God. But it was cool to have it happen too, you know?
Absolutely. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. With that being said, I just want to put a little thing here. Guys, if you like this conversation, continue the conversation in the comments. I would love to hear what you guys think. All of us will write back. We will see your comments, share it, post it, and leave reviews, especially on the podcast channels, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You know, that helps grow the show. So, Justin, we're going to wrap this up here shortly. Yeah. But we always, with the guests, closing out. So I just want to say before we go, Justin, thanks for coming on and talking. I guarantee you'll be on again. You and I are starting to form a good relationship outside and talking nonstop. So I appreciate you, bro. And it's been awesome to get to know you this last week. And guys, if you're not following Truther on any social, you need to go follow him. I posted a bunch on Dads Against the Narrative of his stuff. I've reposted a bunch of his stuff. The way he breaks it down is very elementary and exactly what you need when you start into this process, because you need little by little, as we've all said now. And when you go down that rabbit hole, you're going to realize it all connects, and it's all been an illusion since day one. And then you can rewrite your narrative and actually truly live life. Because when you get this information, it's not about the I gotcha. It's about, I can actually fucking live. Thanks, God, for unveiling my eyes to live the true calling, what you wanted me to live. So thank you again, brother, for being on. Nate, I'll send it to you, and then we'll send it over to Justin for the final word.
Yeah, man, I really do appreciate all this, man. Justin, I'm so glad to have met you and to be able to talk with you about it. It's so fun the deeper we go into this, the more people we connect with. I'm like, I feel less and less crazy. So thanks for making me feel less crazy, even though the things we say sometimes feels crazy. So I do appreciate that. And I always do. I want to bring it back constantly to say, if we don't do this, I've heard it said this way, I feel like I've repeated it, but the dragons we don't slay are the ones that will burn the cities our children build. And it's like, that's what we have to do. So whether it's like going against a narrative, going against governments, going against the government that's outside of our own country, whatever it is, we have to be willing to have that grit, to stand up, to be men of character and principle, but as also men who have this grit and fortitude and willingness to put ourselves in those situations to become stronger, faster, and better. And so I'm glad to be part of a group that does that. I'm glad to be part of this, and I'm also glad to have come to know you, Justin, as well. Just seeing all that you're putting out there to help people see the light. So thank you so much, man. And I'm excited to hear what you have. Like, give us one last nugget, and we'll close it out.
Sure, man. Yeah, and thank you guys. You guys hit it on the head again with summarizing all this. In conclusion, we got to look at the big picture. You know, how important that this all really is, that we get an understanding and we get a grasp on this world in general. You know, right now there's a lot going on in the world. It's quite crazy. If you look at it as a whole, I've just posted a video not too long ago where I show you my feed and I talk about doom scrolling. that's what this is. It's an infinite doom scroll. So we have to see it as that and be like, listen, let's forget the noise and chatter. We know it's crazy out there. We know it's scary, and especially as anyone who's empathetic, it's going to take you away. It's going to take your energy away. It's going to take you away from your life, your everything. And so it's like, if we don't learn to detach from everything, we have to fast from everything. Fast from your phone, fast from media, fast from people, fast from the Matrix, man. Fast from as much as you can. I know it sucks because we in the Matrix, it keeps us sucked in because it's so hard. So we have to like do things to get by. A lot of us end up doing bad things, right? To feel good. Unfortunately, there's always this duality, right? You do a good thing to feel bad and do a bad thing to feel good. Like do drugs, it's a bad thing, but it makes you feel good. And so it's just this, and then but at the end, it's the removing it that's the most beneficial. Unfortunately, you learn that you can dabble with this stuff, but then you learn that if you've dabbled with it too much, then you have to remove it. And that's like just the poison of society. We got to remove it from our subconscious minds, our minds in general. We have to unplug this whole thing and just focus on the literally within the temple, the body itself. Because if you're not healthy, you're not good for your family, you're not good for your kids, right? And so if we don't learn that we start within, that's why it's all about the God within everything. It's all within. If it doesn't start within and then ripple out, right? It's not about you. It's not about selfishness. It's about being the best you can be for others. And if you take it and think of it that way and think, hey, if I can be top notch, not only for myself, but for others, and you want to feel good, right? You want to do drugs and stuff to feel good. Nothing feels better than being healthy, right? So if you get all the poisons and toxins out of you, that's what attracted me to health. I was like, I just want to feel good again, bro. I like feeling good. Like, I'm not going to deny it. Like, that's why I went out and played in this world and did all these dirty things, because it was fun and it felt good. And it was like, now I learned that, man, I need to feel good in my body first and foremost. So if I'm not top-notch health, then I don't feel good. And that's worse than getting drunk or anything. If your body don't feel good, it's like the first where it starts, right? And then so if my mind is get yourself right, get the idea that you are the temple, then it will ripple out. You'll get yourself dialed in, and now you're going to want to attract people into that because your energy is going to be higher. You're going to put all the pieces together, and you're going to want people to join you because it's boring when you kind of get out of it and you break out of the matrix. That's why I say I go in and out so much, because I went out and I was like, I'm bored. There's no one out here, right? Like I say, you guys are ahead of the game. And it's like, it's boring. There's only a few of us. So it's like, I got to go back now and get more people and wake them up. Right. And so now I'm like, wake up, get up. And I'm like bored. And so I'm like kind of red pilling hard. And then people are getting triggered. But hey, trigger them and it wakes them. So my idea of the thing, the whole concept.
Thanks, brother. Thank you again.
Thanks,
Appreciate you. And you guys have a great day.
You too.
Thanks for listening. And don't forget to follow Primal Dad Truther on every social media, pretty much. He's out there. So thanks again, brother. Later, guys.
Same with Dads Against the Narrative. You guys, please follow the homies here. Appreciate you. Much love.
Thank you.
Recording stopped.
All right, guys. So that was on Zoom for Dads Against the Narratives podcast right there, right, Jack? Oh, Jack, I think you're still muted on IG. So if you unmute that now that the Zoom's off, I think you should be good.
I'm going to close this out then.
Okay.
Awesome.
Thanks, man. Thank you, guys. Much love. Have a good day.
Thank you, brother. That was awesome.
Thanks,
guys, have a great day.
Let's do it again.
Absolutely.
Do it.
All right, guys.
Do it.